be doing a foundation test video. I have not done one of those in forever. So the foundation is something I've been curious about for a long time, and especially someone that needs to cover a lot of dark spots and post-acne marks and just has very dull skin, aging skin. I wanted to get something that would work. So I did bite the bullet and did the Mikiage. I didn't do the subscription. Don't do the subscription. If you're not willing to buy, you have to replenish it. Now, if I like it, I like it. That's fine. But I feel like with this, and sorry, you could probably hear like my neighbor's car. I just want this to I just want to test it out because there's a lot of videos that I've seen, like advertisement videos that I've seen that are just very like, it blurs, it just melts into your skin, and I feel like there's filters on it because honest, like I don't like when advertisements have filters because it just doesn't claim truth to the product. Now, the way because if you don't know, I am a Estee Lauder freelancer on the side with, but I used to work in the beauty industry as far as like being a prestige manager. There was a lot of product education I would do, and then there's also like a lot of products that I would have to train on, as well as train my team, you know, being a product educator, and then of course help other brands promote their products as well. And then when I went to Impulse, I had to basically teach people how to sell, you know, those kind of brands, which are like Too Faced, Urban Decay, in a department store. So it's a very different world for newer brands, newer back then, newer, trendier brands like Urban Decay back then, to compete with like the older brands like Estee Lauder, Clinique, Lancome, and then also compete with MAC. So when I moved over to Estee Lauder, I felt like that counter was probably, I would say, my most successful counter, and it was just a lot of fun. But I didn't ever lie to my clients to get a sale. That's the one thing I don't do, and I do this in freelancing. I tell them what works. Tell them how to apply it. Now, if they don't like it, I understand. We'll go on to something else. Like when I do freelance at Ulta, this one lady really wanted to try a foundation. What was it? She tried it at Sephora, and she liked it. She wanted to find that color. However, the Ulta didn't carry it. And I honestly think that was discontinued at some point, but I don't know why Sephora had it. I don't know how long ago she did that. But anyways, I told her, why don't I match you, because I feel like that color is just a little bit too yellow for you. Why don't I match you to Double Wear? Because she wanted something to wear under her mask that stays all day. And I told her, well, Double Wear is a stay all day, #1 selling foundation in the US, and honestly it is, and I love Double Wear. I usually wear that with my Futurist, and I have not cracked open my backups because I have 2 backups of my Double Wear and 1 of my Futurist, so I'm always like kind of scared to use it, but because I'm like, they're not cheap, let me tell you. So I always try and look for cheaper options to kind of keep me, but I do eventually have to crack into those. But I showed her how to put Double Wear on with a flat brush, with my flat brush and my brush belt. She loved the way it looked. She's like, can we set it with powder? I set it with powder, and she looked natural. So that's the kind of thing I like to do, is I like to show them what it does. So I can't, you know, show you all that follow me in person because I don't live near you or whatever. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually show you how I'm going to use this Mikiage, because I've seen so many things like this. I've seen so many advertisements. I'm like, really? Is it really doing that? I want to know, because I have texture, pored, aging skin, dark spots, you know, post-acne marks. Look at that. I am very truthful in my skin. This is what my skin looks like. It's very dull, as you can see. My under eyes have gotten better over the years, but they are starting to wrinkle. I don't have the concealer coinciding. I just wanted to try the foundation. So we're going to try it. And I did that. Try it for 14 days. If you don't like it, it's on, you know, like you can return it and they won't charge you. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it. What do I have to lose besides being may be charged. I don't know, I've heard some horror stories in the reviews, but I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So I did the online quiz. And when I did the online quiz, I usually match myself to light medium. I typically wear buff 2N2 in double wear. Now that could be a little light for me, but it's the only color in double wear that has olive undertones in my light to medium category. So I do 2N2, but when I powder it, it does kind of darken just a smidgen to match my neck. I like that shade. It's perfect for me, and I don't get a lot of sun. I typically can go up to a medium tan if I do get tanned. But if I don't get tanned and I stay ghostly like this, well, yeah. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, on my channel I have been a little bit not very good at matching my foundation lately with that Shein disaster. So anyways, so let's go ahead and do this. Oh, it opens all cool. So it opens like that. Let's see if they got the shade right. I did the quiz. It looks pretty good. So this one's gonna have, and I did say I had more neutral undertones than olive, because usually if they do olive, it tends to turn a little bit too green, so I'm always weary about that. The only one that doesn't do that to me is double wear. And then, let me, because I have my double wear back up in here. So here's my double wear, still in the box, untouched. It's a little light. So comparing the two, the El Mikiage is just a smidgen light, and yeah, that's kind of scaring me a little bit. Alright, we'll do it. So I am going to prep my skin as far as primers go. I am oily in this area, and we're just going to prep with the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Pore Smooth Blur Drops. And it's a serum, but I feel like I can use it as a primer sometimes. Like, it works really well as a primer. And I don't have mattifying primers because I'm always scared of mattifying primers, but I feel like I do need to dive into some mattifying primers because I typically in the summer get more oily. So this isn't necessarily like pore reducing or mattifying. It's more of like a pore reducing. And I'm going to use my trusty pore, no problem primer from Touch in Sol as well. On top of that, I want my skin prepped as usual. Alright, and I am going to do my foundation first. No eyeshadow today because we're just testing this. And I do get a lot of texture here. I have lots of pores and textures in my corners of my mouth. So, alright, is that close enough? I think it is. So yeah, I did the whole box thing. They did give me a free tote with it, but I do have 14 days to try this out. And then if I don't like it, then I can return it. So there's the shade. I wonder if it oxidizes. That's my question. So I'm going to go ahead and do one side with a brush, one side with, and I kind of have a brush similar to what they've used, I guess. Or actually, no, let's do this. I'm going to use this Anastasia one, because this one I've had forever, and it's dense enough to where you can get that sweepy motion. This one is not dense enough. It's a little bit looser, so we're not going to do that. And then I'll use a sponge on the other side. So this is the shade 060, Woke Up Like This. I guess that's what the whole thing's called. And it's a pump. There's the shade. Not too far off. It's not too bad. Alright, let's do the whole viral thing. We're going to do it on this side. I have a dark spot there, and I have some remnants of scarring. Let's... Oh, hey. Alright, I will say that the color matching is pretty spot on. Coverage-wise, not so much. That is good matching, actually, from just doing an online quiz. But I promise you, this is not sponsored. Alright, we're going to put a little bit more coverage. Because I wanted to do a wear test in case I don't like it. I do have time to return it. So I don't want to be stuck with a $45. This is $45. $45 foundation that I won't use. It does. It smells like sunscreen. It smells like summer. It is not a bad match. Coverage-wise, it's not what it claims to be, because I see on the little advertisements, they're like, look at this, it's perfect. And I'm like, wow, that seems a big claim. All right, we're going to use a sponge on the other side. But I don't think this claims to be all-day wear. Let me see. It's just a flawless. Yeah, it doesn't claim to be all-day wear, but I do want to see how it wears throughout the day. If it oxidizes, if it changes in color throughout the day. I want to see. Alright, so sponge, it is not covering as well as I thought. It does feel very light, I will give it that. But I've been using, that's like the third pump I've pumped out to kind of get more coverage. So with a sponge, of course, you're going to get a little bit of a sheer coverage. So you're not going to get a full coverage with a sponge. I'll just put a little on my lid there. So I will have to spot conceal some. But with a brush, I feel like you can get a little bit more precise. Is this absolutely full coverage like it claims to be? No. Not at all. And I will get close and personal so you can see how this does. Alright, I feel like I've distributed evenly on both sides. Alright, so I've actually, let's go ahead and, I don't know how that's going to work. Let's go ahead and turn it this way. There we go. We've got natural light here. This is not my ring light. This is natural light. As you can see, sorry, I have like really bad post-acne problem there. It didn't cover. The brush covered it a little bit better. But, let's see. That is it in natural light. Match is very good. So the match is pretty good, but I do see it kind of darkening just a smidge. Coverage, not so good. I'm kind of a little disappointed there. Let's go ahead and conceal with my double wear, and I usually wear the shade 2W in the double wear concealer. Now I really don't want to I want to spot this part, but it's just not covering. Like this area is not covering. Coverage wise, I feel like this is not very full coverage. I feel like it's a medium. Alright, let's go ahead and do, because it comes down to how the concealer is going to pair with it. I like for my concealer to play nice with my, actually let's go ahead and do this. I have two dark spots right there. And I'm going to put a little there, like I usually do, and we'll put the brush on this side. They seem to play pretty well. And a little more on this side. So I will say, the sponge side, not as much coverage as, but I feel like I have to keep going back in to get more coverage. And it's still not enough. Man, I like how natural this is. But I feel like the coverage is not quite there. Is this worth $45? I would say no, as far as coverage goes. So you have to go back through here get more coverage. And it's still not enough. Coverage is lacking. Coverage is lacking. Shade matching is very, very good. Like, it's a very good match. So I do tend to put a powder foundation on top of my foundation because I do like a little more coverage, especially if this doesn't give me that. So I'm going to just use this Essence in the shade Classic Vanilla. I want to see how this sets. I'm telling you, there's no coverage to this, so... Well, there is, but it's not very good. Is this the kind of foundation I want to use again? I don't know. We'll have to see how it wears throughout the day. I have errands to run today. It's kind of rainy, so I feel like it will do a good job at withstanding some weird weather in New Mexico. I hate the fact that it's not covering this area. Even with my powder foundation, it's not covering. So I'm just going to kind of tap whatever remnants I have on the sponge. So this is what I do in case there's not enough coverage. That I just kind of tap whatever's left on my sponge on the spots I need more coverage, and then it just kind of evens out. Alright, so we've got... Alright, we're going to do a real good close-up so that you can see how the... Alright, so like I said, the coverage is lacking. I had to put a little bit more there. It's not terrible, but I mean, it looks lighter. It actually looks lighter with the ring light, but it's not a bad match. Alright, so I feel like it did a pretty good job at looking natural, like looking like skin. It definitely does look like skin. Coverage wise, it's not there. You do have to add more coverage onto your face. I would recommend probably spot concealing those really dark marks and then going over top with the foundation if you have like a lot of discoloration. Now, shade matching, I know it looks... Let me see. I'm opening my window here so I can see it in natural light. Shade matching is pretty good. It's a very nice neutral olive. I know on camera it looks washed out because I have some parts of my neck that look a little darker. But no, it's not bad. Alright, so I'm going to finish my face and then I'm going to do the check-in after I do my face, and then we'll check in throughout the day. Makeup is done pretty natural today as far as like my standards. Put bronzer, put blush, everything laid out really nicely, evenly. Like there, that's not covered. I missed a spot. I feel like it looks very natural. It feels comfortable, which I really like. That's something you don't really find in a foundation that, you know, a brand that you've never really heard of. So it's like, Oh, and then if you're wondering what lip I'm wearing, I am wearing the new Estee Lauder. What is it called? I threw the box away. It's the new, like, slim lipstick. Oh my God, it's gonna bother me if I don't know what it's called. I know, I threw the box away. Pure Color Explicit Slick Shine Lipstick in the shade Second Chance 803. Like, I probably should pop that part off. It outside in natural light. Not bad. It's on a cloudy day. You can see my dogs. Hi, Guillermo. There's Bakugo. What are you eating? Hey. I don't think I've introduced the newest member. She's been with us for a year now. That's Eula, our little Chi Terrier that we adopted. Alright, it is currently, oh, I can't even see, 2:33. So, oops, I'm dropping things over here. This is natural light. As you can see, I'm very oily already. Like, it's so hard to see. It's holding on really good though. Let me like zoom in. I'm oily all around here. My concealer always does this. But you can see where I have texture, it's kind of breaking up a little. Where the forehead is, that's where I get oily. And where all that shine is, that's where I typically get oily. But honestly, in person, it doesn't look that bad. It actually looks pretty good. It doesn't have longevity, let me tell you. With my oily skin, it doesn't. But when I went and did grocery shopping and just a lot of other things running around, I noticed that my face feels really light. Like, it feels like I'm not wearing any makeup. It feels like I'm wearing nothing. It feels pretty fresh. And usually, and I know this is with, what foundation is it? I know with my Futurist foundation by itself, if I build it to a full coverage, I feel it on my skin. It feels fresh, but it doesn't feel, it feels heavier. For sure, what is it? The Beauty Blender foundation that I would typically wear, now I'm officially out. That one, it's discontinued. But that one, you can feel it on your skin throughout the day. And then, of course, my Wet n Wild, the newer formula, because I feel like it's creamier now. It's not as liquidy as it used to be. That, I feel it on my skin. The oil still peeks through, but I feel it on my skin. And now, like, I was talking to my sister because I was wanting her to, I was telling her that I wanted to try it to see what it's all about. And she's into, like, lightweight foundations, feels like skin. I told her this one, I don't like the coverage, but I like the feel. So for her, she would be like a medium to light coverage. She can really share this out with a beauty blender and do pretty good. Let's zoom all the way. So yeah, I feel like this is a good lightweight foundation. I don't feel it on my skin. Usually by now, because my oil seeps through, as much as I try and my skin's aging, the oil still kind of seeps through. So I feel like by now I'll feel it on my skin. Like, I was painting earlier. I kind of want to show you what I'm painting, but let's go see. But yeah, like, let's go ahead and I'm painting right now. So yeah, I've been working on a lot of art stuff. I'm kind of going on I have like two sides to my office. I have my art side, makeup side, and then I have my office for work. So overall, I feel like it's okay. It's not bad. It's still, let me grab a mirror. It's oily, and yeah, I accidentally wiped my nose here. I wiped a little off. So longevity with my oil, probably not the best foundation, but I feel like if I do more of a mattifying primer, maybe that would work. But I noticed that, I don't know, I noticed that my skin can breathe, and that one with Estee Lauder, I could feel it, like I can breathe in that one as well. I feel like this one's more of like a natural foundation, not full coverage, not long wear, more or less just a natural, like your skin but better type of deal. So it's currently at what, 240 now or so. I'll probably check in at the end of the night just for one more last check-in. I'm going to keep this on. I'm trying to avoid powdering. I did want to not powder today because, well, I'm trying to test this out, see how much of my oil peeks through, and if it does, is it going to break up? That's my biggest thing. So far it's not breaking up too bad, except for the textured area here. I always have issues there. Alright, so I'm back at the last check-in. Sorry, I've got something in my hand. Let's see. It is currently about 5:30, and I'm ready to take off my makeup just because, you know, I want to relax the rest of the evening. But I will say the comfort of this foundation's actually been pretty good all day. As you can see, I'm extremely oily. No joke. Oily. But I do not see breakup of the foundation. Maybe except for my forehead. I did kind of wipe it a little bit. But let me show you what's in my hands. So I don't think I properly introduced her to the channel, but this is my Chihuahua, Chi Terrier, I should say. This is Eula. We had gotten her, we adopted her from an animal rescue because my husband wanted a Chihuahua again. And, you know, we've had Chihuahuas before, you know, if you've been on my channel. I've had 2 Chihuahuas, and both of them have since passed. It was... Oh, well, then I haven't really told you that that my oldest one passed because I haven't been on this channel in quite some time. So April 12th of was it last year? I think it was last year. Or no, 2 years ago. So you have heard about that. Sorry, it's just, it feels like yesterday that happened. But 2 years ago we lost Chalupa, our oldest, and she's kind of been featured on this channel as well. It's been 3 years since Jujubee and 2 years since Chalupa. And my husband wanted a Chihuahua so bad, you know, he really missed having that little girl. So we decided to adopt Eula from an animal rescue here. So this is Eula. She's a Chi Terrier. So as you can see, I don't know if she's like looking at the camera, she doesn't have the big bulgy eyes, but she's a really feisty Chihuahua, that's for sure. She's very much 100% feisty Chihuahua, so she is crazy. But, so I wanted to introduce you guys to Eula, to the channel, because she has not been on. You've seen Bakugo and you've seen Guillermo. So we have 2 pugs, 2 male pugs. One's Guillermo, black pug, and then a brindle pug, Bakugo. And if you don't know their names, Guillermo's actually named after Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows, and then Bakugo was named after the anime character Bakugo from My Hero Academia, and Eula is actually named after a character in a game that my husband likes called Genshin Impact. So that's where we got our dogs' names. Say hi, Eula. So yeah, I wanted to introduce you to Eula, but let's get back to the makeup. Puppy break, then Eula. So I'm going to do a close-up of my face so you can see that there actually isn't any breakup of the makeup. I mean, there's some around my nose. Surprisingly, I always get breakup here, and there really isn't any. Very oily though. There we go, my camera. So, alright, so I'm going to powder because I want to see. I want to see how this looks if I powder a little. Will it lift it? Will it? I'm just using my Essence powder. I mean, seems looks to go really well. Usually I would totally redo my face because it's so oily. Because I always like to pick up the oil. And I don't use oil blotting papers, so I feel like it lifts too much of the makeup. Okay, I'm noticing that it did pick up a little there. And it's not really getting rid of the shine. So throughout the day, I feel like this will get too oily for me as far as like, but I'm curious to see. I might do a take 2 on it. I don't know yet because I have 14 days, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to keep it. But if I do end up liking it, then yeah, I'll keep it. But I like the fact that this foundation comes in a glass bottle. It's a pump. It did take me a few pumps to get what I wanted out of it to do coverage, so I might have to do a different method to kind of make it work. As far as ingredients go, this is supposed to smooth and even skin, minimizes the appearance of shadows and pores, enhances the complexion to create a flawless natural matte finish. I wouldn't say this is necessarily a matte finish, it's more of like a natural finish. Combination of medium to high coverage. I disagree on the high coverage for sure. I would say it's medium coverage. Weightless feeling, I agree on that. It does feel weightless. Sorry, you're probably hearing a neighbor. It's ultra fluid, easy to blend texture, applies effortlessly and enables building. No, I'd say building coverage doesn't work. I had to really I had to put powder a little bit and then add more in order to build coverage on those pesky, really awful spots that I have. Yeah. Long lasting, I disagree on it long lasting on oily skin. Now, if you had normal to dry skin, I would say this would last pretty well on you because it did not break up on my skin. It did not rub off on my skin, nor did it cause additional little breakouts. I could tell a foundation is not going to be good for me when it starts doing little tiny bumps, meaning that my skin's getting too plugged up. Is this good for oily skin? I would say no. If it's good for combination skin, maybe. I really thought I had combo skin at this point in my life, but I really do still have oily skin. And it gets more oily as there's moisture in the air. It's raining outside in New Mexico. That's a very rare occurrence. And then, of course, if it gets warmer, I start to get more oily. In the winter times, I am much more drier, so... Yeah, and then the first ingredient's water. There's dimethicone in it. There is alcohol. I mean, other ingredients don't look so bad, but if you want something, I don't think this claims to be cruelty-free. I'd have to look that up. But it is a full fluid ounce. Normal price is $45. Would I say this is a $45 foundation? Maybe. To me, what I described to my sister when she asked me how does it look or feel, told her it kind of reminds me of the NARS Sheer Glow foundation for me. I liked the coverage, I liked that it stayed. And the Sheer Glow actually was more of a medium coverage to me. So I liked that when I have clearer skin, back when I tried it. For this, when I don't have clear skin, I will need to spot conceal, so I might have to break into a better, more skin flexing type of concealer, which would be either my new Double Wear Futurist concealer or my favorite concealer, the Lancome Tauntaun Doll concealer. I usually spot conceal with that, and then I'll go on my foundation, go over top, and then I will kind of brighten my under eye and use my Estee Lauder Double Wear one, or the tape, the Shape Tape or whatever. The Shape Tape, it's too heavy, so I don't like putting it under my eyes. But I did find a little bit of a better concealer, cheapy concealer, is that Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Finish, because I like the fact that it's got a little bit of pink in it. I don't mind it. It actually really corrects well under my eyes. So if I do that, and then I do have a mattifying primer that I can try it with, and just kind of play with it a little bit before I decide to keep it or return it, because I just don't know yet. It's a first impressions all day wear. I'd say the match was pretty spot on. All I did was answer a few questions. Do understand your skin. If you can tell your undertones, if you have more green veins on your arms, like you can see the veins, the color of the veins. If you have like green colored ones, then you are more warm. If you have green and blue and a bit of purple in there with your veins, you are neutral. I tend to run blue and green, so I'm a neutral, but also I have some purple tones here as well. So I'm more of a neutral, but I do lean neutral olive. And then if you have blue coloring in your veins, then you are cool. So just kind of figure that out for yourself. Just kind of be like, based on the questions, what do you typically wear? Like, say you have a foundation. I mean, some foundations are pretty straightforward. Like if you do get matched at Estee Lauder, really, like go to a counter or an Ulta and find somebody that can color match you really nicely. And then, because that will tell you whether you're a neutral or a cool. Hopefully you get a good artist that will actually do that for you. Because sometimes I've had people get matched wrong and they're like, I want to return this, I was matched incorrectly, and I'm like, well, I can't return. But, you know, like if they were matched incorrectly by somebody, or just said they took a quiz online and they're just like, that's not my color, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, the best you can do is get matched by someone that really knows their stuff. So I would say go to maybe like a department store maybe, because they do train a lot on that stuff. So, or, I mean, I'm sure Ulta does that as well, but sometimes, you know, people just don't have the eye for it and they don't do it correctly. But, or even like, I don't know. I'm trying to find the best way to do it. I would say just go get matched by somebody. And in a store, department store, whatever. Sephora, I feel like if they do that tool thing, it's not accurate. I've done it before, and it's definitely not accurate. It said I was Pebble one time, and I'm like, I am not Pebble. Well, one, I'm not in the 3 category in Estee Lauder. I'm not a cool. I'm not a darker version of a medium in that, because it's 3C2, and I am not in that category at all. I run between, I would say, I do wear Desert Beige in the Futurist because it does run darker, and I do wear a buff pretty much all around, except for the Double Wear Max. I wear an Ivory Beige. So that's 3 and 1, because that one tends to run a little lighter, but the Double Wear, regular Double Wear, and the Futurist, there's a buff in Futurist, and then I'll do Dawn in the Futurist Skin Tint because they don't have a buff, and the Desert Beige is too light in that one. So, like, it just depends, but I usually run neutral, not warm, but if I were to have no choice to get a warm, then I would get Dawn, if that makes sense. This is 2W1. So Estee Lauder has pretty straightforward numbering system. It's like 2 and 2. So 2 is a light. Is it light medium? Yeah, light medium, neutral undertone, and it's the second level in the light medium category. Ivory Beige is a medium, neutral undertone, and the first level in the medium category. So if that makes sense. So I kind of based what I know, what color I'm in a foundation, and answered the quiz questions like that. I put light, medium, and then I said that it does ask you what your vein coloring is, so do note that. And then what foundations you use. And I told them Estee Lauder because I do use that a lot. But for reference, I think the best match for me right now, and I would say this one's pretty spot on with it, besides my double wear, my double wear looks a tad darker, and this one does look a little bit darker, but this is the True Match N3 Light Medium Neutral from L'Oreal. And then another one from L'Oreal, I believe it's the 440. Pretty close. 440, and this is the Infallible one. That's my backup. And then in Skin Silk, you can barely see it, but it's pretty close. Silk is a little lighter. I usually wear it in an F6 in Makeup Revolution, but I feel like this one runs a little lighter, but then the F7 ran too orange, so I went with this one. What's another one? Oh, a good match. This one's just a tad darker, is my MAC Studio Radiance, and this is NC 17.5. Now this range is different from the regular MAC one. This does run a little dark for me, so this can transfer into a summer color very easily. I would say the color match is pretty on. Teeny tad light than what I'm usually used to, but did pretty good. Longevity, not there as far as oil concerns, but did not break up during the day. It stayed put. It felt comfortable in the entire day. It felt like my skin can breathe. It felt fresh is all I can describe it as. Fresh, kind of like, but I can feel it get dewy throughout the day because of my oil. So if you have normal skin, this is not going to bother you at all. If you have dry skin, it's not going to bother you at all. If you have very oily skin like myself or combo, it might be a little issue with having to, because I powdered and look, I'm already coming back, but this is all day. And usually blotting papers will do the trick, but I feel like I just need to redo it after a while because the oil just kind of sits on my face, so I don't like that feeling. That's just my personal preference. Oh, and then another good match, I still have it. This is 3.45 neutral in the Beauty Blender, and this is actually out. It's done. It's very hard component, but it's a great formula. So yeah, that's a reference of my shades of foundation, but I would say that the color match did very well. So I could say after first impressions and wearing it all day, it is a pretty good foundation. Will it do the claims that those filter looking advertisements state? No. That's very unrealistic. It's not going to be that Laura Mercier viral, you know, one swatch in its coverage. It's not going to do that at all. You're dreaming. It is a medium coverage, so you will, if you do have a lot of dark spots, you do have textured skin, it can smooth just a smidge, but it's not going to take away texture. You can't remove texture no matter what the claim is. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Il Makiage. So if you are interested in me trying any more kind of like these advertisement type foundations or products, please let me know in the comments what you think would be good, and I can research it and see if I'll do something like that again. I really had fun with this. I hadn't done something like this in a while, so if you really want me to do another one, let me know. What do you have you seen out there? What's viral as far as like advertisements and stuff? I know that luminous airbrush thingy. I've been interested in that, but I'm very, very wary about pulling the trigger on that because I heard that they upcharge. It's like they're like 70% off, blah, 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 or something like that. And then people get charged the actual price. So I'm a little weary on that. So I might have to buy it off of Amazon where it's like $39. But that will be my next foundation video if I do decide to do that. So, final decision is not made to keep this yet. I think I need to play with it with a little bit more of a mattifying, not super mattifying, but mattifying enough primer so that I can see if it will, the oil will still peek through, or if this is just too dewy for me. I do like the fact that it's a natural finish, and I do like how my skin looks in it. I honestly, my skin looks really, really nice. Like, I don't look overdone, so that's a good thing. Alright, so that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video, let me know your ideas in the comments about which next advertisement type thing I should try, and then I can do that for you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!